Welcome inside the State Champs Sports Network studios for our first playoff edition of State Champs Ohio Extra Point. I'm your host, Jeremy Otto, and I want to start off by telling you about our presenting sponsor, Lawrence Technological University. Lawrence Tech has over 24 varsity-level NAIA sports, and you can recruit yourself. Just go to LTUathletics.com, click the Recruit Yourself link, fill out a short questionnaire, and the coach will get back to you within 48 hours. Athletic and academic scholarships are available. We also want you to check out our Ohio football podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts. We catch up with some of the top programs around the state. This week, we had a chance to talk to Mason Lowry, one of the play-by-play voices of BCSN's football coverage, but more on that in a bit. And for a full list of the various State Champs podcasts you can follow us on Spreaker. Just search State Champs. Let's check out what happened around the state in the first week of the playoffs. In Cincinnati, we had a good one at the Pit. The 7-seeded Elder Panthers taking on the 10-seed Colerain Cardinals. This was a long one, too. Colerain had a 13-0 advantage after the first, but Elder stormed back with 20 points in the second. Drew Ramsey and Zay Jennings each picked up their second score to tie the game at 20 before the break. A 9-yard Ramsey run put Elder up by 7 after the third, but Jennings picked up a 1-yard and 92-yard score to keep Colerain in it. We were tied at 34 at the end of regulation. Panthers got the ball first in OT. Ben Hamilton hits Andrew Hart for the score, but MJ Flowers responds for the Cards. A 3-yard run sends us to a second overtime. Zay Jennings picks up his 5th touchdown of the night. The sophomore culminated 326 yards in this one. How about that? The Panthers get the ball next. Hamilton to Hart for his second score, and we head to overtime number 3. Drew Ramsey takes it into his own hands from the 1, finds the paint for his 4th touchdown of the day. And the Panthers D able to get a stop on 4th down as Elder wins a triple overtime thriller, 55-48. We stay in Cincinnati, the 8th-seeded Fairfield Indians at home, taking on a 9-seed, the Mason Comets. Indians jumped out to a quick lead as Talon Fisher finds Christian Jackson for a 56-yard tally and a 7-point lead. Jordan Jackson would break off a 72-yard score before the quarter ended, and Fairfield jumped out to a 14-0 lead. Mason would answer back in the second quarter. Michael Molnar picked up 2 scores on a 14-yard rush and a 34-yard carry, but not before Jordan Jackson picked up touchdown number 2, and Fairfield rolled a 21-14 lead into the break. Molnar picked up a score in the third, but Fairfield had one more in them and a sack to stop a comeback attempt as the Indians advanced, beating Mason 28-21. Up to Columbus now in Division III, where the Sheridan Generals went on the road to face the DeSales Stallions. Generals scored first. Jason Munyon gets the call, finds the paint for a 7-0 lead after 1. In the second, the Generals QB Caden Sheridan hits Andrew Holden. He makes one-man miss and into the end zone to go up 14. Gabe Caruso punched the Stallions into the scoring column next, trimming the deficit to 7 at half. Opening drive of the third, and Whit Hobgood gets in from 4 yards out to tie it up at 14. With 2.5 minutes to play, DeSales forced a Generals punt, and it's blocked by Max Shulaw, and Hobgood would capitalize 4 plays later as DeSales survives and advances, beating Sheridan 21-14. State Champs was also out at Lutheran West as the Longhorns fell to Perkins 34-14. As we mentioned earlier in the show, we had a conversation with Mason Lowry. He's set to cover Findlay and Dublin Kaufman this week for BCSN. He shares his thoughts on that matchup here. And kind of wrapping things up with the game you'll be covering this week, Findlay and Dublin Kaufman. Some interesting stories, between those two teams. Findlay, a really nice offense like we've talked about, some great pieces there. But Kaufman coming off an upset, a Hail Mary last week to go with 2 fake punts that Max Roth converted. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I probably should have saved all the aggressiveness chatter for Findlay instead of wasting it all on Central Catholic. To pull off 2 fake punts. So coaches talk about winning the special teams battle all the time. Well, they had 2 fake punts that they successfully converted, and they blocked a field goal that would have given Miamisburg a lead as well. Always nice when you have a 6'9" offensive lineman that you can go out to try and block a kick, which Razek Crutcher did, which was pretty cool. Actually, Findlay, the left side of their offensive line, I think it's the left side, 6'9" and 6'8", which is the tallest high school line I've ever seen. The thing for Dublin Kaufman is that there are lots and lots of, to use a college basketball analogy again, lots of teams, 5-12 game, the 4-13 game, teams that win on a Thursday in that early session, and then you got to turn around and not let the emotion of that beat you again playing on Saturday. So the UMBCs and the Middle Tennessees of years past, they were the 15 seed and beat Michigan State, and Oral Roberts last year. That's not something that's super common, pulling off more than one major upset in a row. Dublin Kaufman's got a real good quarterback, a big kid named Mason Maggs, who's 6'3", 210, can really run the football. They've got 3 running backs that they can use, all of whom are a little bit different. They've got a D lineman named Will Smith, who's got offers from places like West Virginia and Duke. So he's a big-time recruit, a big kid, still only a junior. But it's tough emotionally to pull off 2 big upsets in a row, especially. It's one thing to upset a good team, and Huber Heights Wayne, whom they beat last week, is a good football team. It's another to beat them on a Hail Mary with no time left. Like, that is just a huge eruption of emotion, and you've got to find a way to reel that back in.
Well, thanks again to Mason for coming on to talk with us. Be sure to check out the entire interview wherever you listen to podcasts. Now we take a look ahead at what round 2 playoff games state champs will be featuring this week. In D1, Hilliard Darby travels to New Albany. Can they knock off the undefeated Eagles? Stay tuned for that one. Division 3 pits a pair of 8-3 teams as the Buckeye Bucks head into Rocky River for a rematch from 2 weeks ago that saw Rocky River win 23-12. In Division 4, another rematch. Carrollton traveling to St. Clairsville, looking to avenge a Week 1 42-35 tough loss. Then on Saturday in Division 5, Miramount taking on Roger Bacon. Both of those teams looking for their 9th win as well. Well, that's all the time we have this week. Keep up with us throughout the entire postseason, all the way through the state championships. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media to keep up with everything Ohio high school sports. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, just search State Champs Ohio. I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Lawrence Technological University, where you can recruit yourself. Just go to LTUathletics.com. We'll see you next week.